Oh, baby, I can smell your breath. She's on the floor,
Oh,
and I can.
actually, fun thing about that. I took Oliver, or fun thing about cat stank breath, I took Oliver to the vet because I was like, I don't know if this is normal. And he still had like, because when I took him to the vet the first time to like get him just like on the books and everything, they were like, oh, his gums look a little red, but that's probably because like he's teething. And like I had found some of his baby teeth, which I currently still have. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. But then it didn't go away, and I stopped finding teeth. So I was like, that doesn't sound good. So baby boy has juvenile gingivitis.
Yeah, she has a touch of gingivitis, the vet said.
So I have to try to. I bought him a little like toothbrush.
Yeah.
He doesn't like
They
it.
gave they gave me a toothbrush for Bella. I never tried.
He does not like it. But I would prefer him to keep his teeth. So
Yeah,
he's
and
just gonna have to deal.
when I took her to the vet, she was basically just like, it's just, mild and we'll, kind of keep an eye on it at this point. I'm like, good, because she's impossible. Slime.
Yep. And I also got like a little like thing you're supposed to spray in his mouth, which he also doesn't like but tolerates better. So
It helps.
if it helps. But yeah, there's some updates on my son and his now what I'm gonna call chronic stank breath because it actually received a diagnosis.
Yeah. That's why Nix's breath is so bad. Like Luna's, it's not pleasant, but it's not the same level.
Oh, my sweet disgusting son. Anyway, um, what's going on with you, bestie? Any fun life updates?
Mm, I did technically beat Super Mario Odyssey.
Shit, dog. How long have you had that game? It hasn't been that long.
I got it the day after you left. I don't know how time works.
Girl.
The 6th,
Like,
right?
I know you had, like, spring break and
16
whatever,
days
but
ago.
still.
16 days ago.
That is terrifying.
But I mean, beating it just means that I like, beat Bowser and everything and saved the princess and all that. Um,
Still.
so there's still a ton of game left to play though. Like, 'cause it just opened up a new kingdom and I got to go back to all the old ones. It's like a whole thing. But yeah, I beat Bowser. I didn't actually think that was the final battle. I thought it was going to be like, oh, I fight Bowser and then he somehow gets away. And I was like, and then the credits started rolling and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh my god.
That was a little too, I don't want to say easy, but like, I mean, it is Mario. It's not,
Yeah, it's not that complicated.
still, still. And
Well,
I just did that as of like 20 minutes ago.
how much time over spring break did you spend just playing Mario Odyssey?
Surprisingly, not that much because
So
I
you're
spent my
just good at Mario Odyssey.
efficient, maybe? I mean, it doesn't really take that long if you don't try to do every single moon and every single kingdom that
Oh,
you
see,
can.
that's what I did.
I mean, I
I'm a
got
perfectionist.
like 30 something in each kingdom,
I'm
but
impressed.
apparently there's like 80. So,
Yeah, I haven't
a
picked
lot
up
of them.
Mario Odyssey in a hot minute. I really should. I still have the world. Like, I beat Bowser as well, but I still have the world afterwards that I haven't really explored. Um,
There's also a lot of power moons you can't get until after you beat Bowser, so you have to go back to all the old ones that.
I've said this already on the podcast. I hate time trials in video games. I hate them so much. They make me so stressed out. Like those are the
Yep.
only ones where I will allow myself to like give up and not like get the star or like complete the level or like get it like gold starred or whatever.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Uh-huh.
Um the first thing we have to discuss today is a TikTok that I've kind of been sitting on for a while. Just cuz.
Mhm.
Um and you know what? Let me just play this in full for people. I did it again. I fucking did it again. Every time I go to click the show chat so I can see the links that I have sent, I
Yeah.
minimize. I like exit full screen. Why do I
Okay.
do this to myself? Okay. So it's not letting me see this unless I log into TikTok, and I'm not doing that on my desktop. So, I'm just gonna ask the question that is posed by this video and then link the TikTok in the description for people. The question that the creator of this TikTok asks is, would a toupee count as a yarmulke?
I mean,
And I'm ready to Google things because neither of us are Jewish.
yeah, that's why I was like, I feel like I need to like
I feel like I'm
look
going to
up a
start with like, what
skull
is the
cap.
purpose of because this
Skull cap
person
worn in public by Orthodox Jewish men or during prayer by other Jewish men.
because the TikTok that this person like duets is like
Hmm.
somebody like having like putting a toupee on to like cover the fact that they are losing their hair, and it looks very similar to ways I have just like seen people out and about wearing a yarmulke. Like they put it on with hair clips and it kind of covers the exact same spot. I was like, and then when I saw this I was like, well, wait a second. So what are we finding out?
Yeah, so now I'm on the Wikipedia page
Just the Wikipedia page for Judaism?
for yarmulkes.
Okay. What do we got?
So it's a brimless cap, usually made of cloth,
Okay.
traditionally worn by Jewish males to fulfill the customary requirement that the head be covered. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a requirement that the head be covered. Looking for other potentially important things. Um, Literally means dome.
Huh.
That's fun. Um,
Learn something new every day.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell, the only point is that your head is supposed to be covered. And it comes from the Talmud, cover your head in order that the fear of heaven may be upon you.
Okay. So then maybe technically if your head is covered even though it still looks like you're not wearing anything, maybe
Hmm.
like would it have the same impact as perhaps wearing a yarmulke that was made of like a clear material that like you couldn't immediately tell that somebody was wearing a yarmulke?
Well, and that's the reason I read the little line in the Talmud,
Mm-hmm.
because that's all it says as far as I can see, at least from this page. And
So
so if it's literally just a covering,
yeah, as someone who's not Jewish, I'm gonna say maybe.
yeah, and I'm seeing a bunch of things in here about like different materials that people use, like leather or suede in some communities. Um,
Hmm.
Apparently crocheted ones are very common.
I feel that kind of makes sense.
Black velvet, satin.
Damn, bougie.
Yeah. So it just kind of depends on the flavor of Judaism, I guess you might say.
So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it could be. I feel like it's open to interpretation simply because, yeah, you can make an argument that that wouldn't make sense because it's like you already have hair on your head and it's not like
Yeah.
it's hard to put that into words. But at the same time, just in the pure sense of a head covering,
I mean that is what that is.
that's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
also, side note, I can't even remember what account this was, like what TikTok account this was. I'm gonna write this down in hopes that I can maybe find it for myself later. But I swear to God, there's this guy on TikTok who, like, just makes videos of himself doing random tomfoolery and, like, disappointing his father. And I swear to God, his father is wearing a yarmulke, but instead of having it attached with, like keeping it in place with, like, a hair clip or a bobby pin, I swear to God, it's a paper clip.
Okay. Whatever
And I'm just
works, I
like,
guess.
all right, yeah. And I don't know if that's, like, a thing or if he just doesn't feel like getting a hair clip.
Particular rabbi said that where I lost the name already. Rabbi Huna ben Joshua never walked 4 cubits with his head uncovered.
What's a
He
cubit?
explained Uh, well, in parentheses, it says 6.6 feet.
Interesting.
Um, and he explained because the divine presence is always over my head, and this was understood later on to indicate that Jewish men should cover their heads and should not walk more than 4 cubits bareheaded.
We're just learning so much today. Huh.
Ooh, and then another figure said that no, you can't even go 4 cubits. And even when one is standing still indoors and outside. So
Huh.
literally at all times.
Interesting. You know, this just reminded me of like this is only very tangentially related. I got tickets to go see production of Fiddler on the Roof in April, which I'm very excited about
Hmm.
because we did Fiddler on the Roof for like the eighth when I was in eighth grade. That was the school musical, and I think probably for our like child's theater program at an incredibly small school, that was our best one.
I probably have a t-shirt in that dresser back there from when I did Fiddler on the Roof in high school.
Oh my god, twinsies! But yeah, excited to actually finally see a professional production of that musical.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna say, as one of the uninitiated, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say maybe. Final answer. If anyone who is Jewish and listens to the podcast would like to weigh in or give us any information, comment. Hell, you can email us. fightingwithfriendspodcast@gmail.com, but the with is just a letter W, no slash or anything.
Ah,
Let
yeah,
us know.
yeah.
We'd love to hear.
I was just reading slightly further that most recently they've been observed made in the colors of sports teams, especially football. In the US, children's feature characters or themes such as Star Wars have become popular.
Hell yeah. Oh my god, when I used to work at one of my first like real official job was a ride operator at a children's amusement park, so I literally just sat there and pushed a button. But I remember one time this family came through and I believe they were Orthodox Jewish. They were the all had like head coverings wearing
Mm.
traditional clothing. But I just remember that this little kid lost his yarmulke on my ride.
Oh no.
He got it back. But I don't know why that sticks out to me. It just does.
Just a few more fun facts. They've
I love a fun fact.
been inscribed on the inside as a souvenir for a celebration, such as a bar or bat mitzvah or wedding. Sometimes women wear them, and they're sometimes made of beaded wire to seem more feminine.
Huh.
So beaded wire, that's even more different. Um, and then a special baby one has two strings on each side to fasten it.
That's kind of cute.
The one about the inscription, I had a Jewish boyfriend in graduate school,
Mm-hmm.
and he went to his cousin's bat mitzvah while we were dating, and I did not go. But they were giving out like party favors, and he did get a yarmulke that was like had embroidery on it, like for her bat
That's
mitzvah.
cool.
But that was for the men. For the women who attended, they were giving out bath towels that were embroidered. And so he brought one back to me, and I still have it. Now, the best part, can you guess the cousin's name?
Is it Sarah?
So I
That's
have a
kind of fun.
towel. I have an embroidered towel that says Sarah's bat mitzvah. And I think it has the date on it. I can't remember.
What an odd thing to own.
Yeah. Why did I have a bat mitzvah so late in life? Yeah.
Yeah, if someone
I
was
just,
only just going through your things, that would be like a sensible conclusion to draw, technically.
it would be my bat mitzvah. Yeah.
I
I was like,
guess.
man, what
Interesting.
a great coincidence. Yeah, so I have a bat mitzvah towel with my own name on it. It's a lovely towel. I've
Sometimes the things I like just find out about you, like never in a million years would I have ever guessed.
Fascinating.
So many.
The towel's still in really good shape because I've only used it, I think, like one time because I was like, I want this to stay nice. This is more of a souvenir, you know?
Honestly, yeah. Like that's keep that. Keep that nice. Oh, is that your new mug that you were really excited about?
Oh yeah, that arrived when you guys were here.
Mm-hmm.
It
This
keeps it hot
is
for so long.
the mug I got at the Elton John concert in
Nice.
March of 2019.
I don't think I've seen that one before.
I've probably used it on the podcast before, but this podcast has been going on for a hot minute and has also had multiple co-hosts. So,
Yeah.
anyway, moving right along, I stole a couple. I did some scrolling through r/ask Reddit for inspiration this week, and I got what I think are two pretty good ones. So the first one, which I have simply linked here, I don't need to actually pull it up, but I have linked it if you want to take a look. It's in the chat for you. But the question is, what are your thoughts on who should pay on a first date?
I think the reason that this is even a question is it's like being based on the assumption, like the traditional idea that
Yeah,
men are supposed
yeah.
to pay, which is why? Like, sure, back in the day when women like did not have jobs,
Yeah.
that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's, I am just as capable of paying as any person I might date.
Okay, but so, like, I guess then, not necessarily thoughts, because at this point it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, most people have jobs.
Yeah.
And, like, also not everyone, it's not always, like, men and women going out, blah, blah,
Yeah, I
blah.
was gonna say, yeah, it's not always, yeah.
Not to be particularly, like, cishet normative or whatever, but as, people, as women who date men, let's say,
Yeah.
even though I've been out of the game for a hot minute, generally, what's the vibe for a first date, I guess? Because I feel weird about always expecting the guy to pay. Like, I don't. It was, I never.
I do not have that expectation. I always
Yeah, I
just,
don't expect it. I mean, if on the, like, Tinder dates that I had gone on, like, if he was like, oh, I'll get it, I'm like, okay.
oh no, I always offered to at least split it.
That is also often what I would do. Or, like, if I did wind up going on a second date with him, like,
Mhm.
I'd be like, oh, I'll get this one.
Yeah, because often like you end up like paying at the end of the date, because
Mm-hmm.
you're like ordering drinks or whatever, and then the bill comes at the end. So it's often based on how well the date went,
Yeah.
because I mean, most guys do offer to pay, and so like if the date went well, I might say, okay, yeah, no, I'll get the next time. And then that's also a way
But then
to
if it
see if
doesn't go
we
well, you'll be
agree.
like, oh, let's split it, and then dip.
Exactly.
Nah, smart. See, I was never in the game for an extended enough period of time that ever occurred to me.
Yeah, and I think sort of the nice thing about saying, I'll get the next time is either, first of all, that can almost be like a way to take the temperature of things, like see how he reacts to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, we should go do," or whatever, you're like, "Oh, he's on board, we're on the
Yeah.
same page."
Ooh, damn, that's
But
smart.
but if he's like awkward about it, like, "Yeah, yeah, maybe," then I will still let him pay, and I just get a free meal out of it,
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
or
Like,
whatever it
sometimes even bad dates, I was like, at least someone paid for my Chipotle.
is.
Like, that was kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I guess, being my age and having been on as many first dates as I have that went nowhere, I have a system essentially at this point.
I love that for you, honestly. That's a very good system. Whoever's listening, feel free. I'm gonna say feel free to steal that, even though it's not my
Yeah,
idea.
go for it. Yeah. No, it works out.
I dig it.
There are other first date things that I haven't figured out still at this point in my life, but like if you arrive first and you're like sitting at the bar, do you order a drink or do you wait for them to arrive before you order a drink?
I never even thought that was like a thing.
Yeah. Like I think the last time I went through this was like last year I went. on a date where I was there before him. He was like super late. And so
You hate to
I
see it.
grabbed a seat at the bar and the bartender was like, "Do you want something to drink?" And I was like, "Well, I'm waiting on somebody."
Question.
It's like
No, here's the thing.
"Well,
I
I'm
think you should
sitting
order
here.
it because it'll be like because that reminds them like you were late, man. I've been waiting.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe that's just me being petty,
yeah. Well, but
which
if
like
you
I've never
order,
claimed not to be in my own
yeah,
defense.
but if you order a drink before they arrive, that usually means you have to eat. You could pay for it in cash, I guess, but if you give them a card, that kind of ruins the system,
Hmm.
because then they have your card on file, and so you can't do the whole.
Oh yeah.
But
Some thought.
these are
Just
things. Yeah,
things to be aware of, I
yeah.
guess. Um. Sure. Next question. Why not? What's the worst name you can think of for a child?
I feel like the sky's the limit on that one. Because I just,
I think currently one of them has to be Karen.
yeah,
Like that
don't do
name,
that with it
that
now.
name's done. That name
Yeah,
is over.
it's been killed. Yeah,
And like
unfortunately.
my friend who lived across the street from me growing up, her mom's name is Karen. She's a lovely woman, but like that name is dead.
Yeah, I know exactly one person named Karen, and she is a delightful human being, and I
Yeah,
feel very bad for her because,
like it's over.
actually, I've never met a Karen who wasn't a nice person, which is sad.
Yeah,
That it's happening to all these nice people.
pretend I do not see it.
Yeah, I can only hope that never happens to me.
Yikes! Yeah. But other than like anything that's particular, because like that's particularly topical. That's kind of recent. I'm trying to think of something that's just like bad. Period.
Of just like normal names, not making ones up.
I mean,
As,
define
as
making
in
ones
names
up.
we've heard before.
Yeah, I'm gonna say names you've heard before.
Okay. Because I was gonna say just grumbling out some garbage will be worse.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the thing that Elon Musk tried to name that one kid,
Oh God.
the Dash and whatnot, like but also don't try to be cutesy with your spelling of names.
Oh, you know what's bad that I've seen before? Like I've only ever seen this on the internet. I've never seen this in my actual day-to-day life, but literally the first 5 letters of the like ABCDE
Mhm.
and it's like
Absidy.
Abcde or whatever.
Yeah.
Why would you do that to your child?
Mhm.
Like why?
Well,
What
that's
are
the
you
thing.
doing?
As we said, like don't get cutesy with the spelling of it because one, they're never gonna get to have those fun souvenir like
I never had
keychains
them
and stuff,
anyway.
you know?
Because, like, I mean,
But
not that Bridget is ridiculously uncommon, but it's also
yeah,
not that common either.
yeah. But then the other thing is like you don't want to like doom them to a lifetime of having to pronounce it for people and suffering as people
Oh my
mispronounce
god,
it
I
and
know.
misspell
No,
it
there's a
and.
trend, and I'm saying this as a person who is never having kids, so, like, what does my opinion really matter? But then again,
Yeah.
this podcast is literally just unnecessary opinions that don't matter. So, I hate this thing of just, like, putting X's and Y's in, like, quote unquote, in, like, pretty common names. So, like, Jackson, for example, like Jackson Brown. All right, that's kind of cool. But as soon
Mhm.
as you put the Jaxon, I hate that shit.
Jackson?
I absolutely
Yeah.
hate it.
Yeah, well, that reminds me of the very first comment in the Reddit thread where I don't know, I assume it's supposed to be pronounced as Crystal, but it's KRXSTXL. So basically
Why?
replacing the noun not the nouns, wow, the vowels with X's.
Why would you do that?
And the first response below that is, I actually recoiled at reading that. Christ, sounds like a type of meth.
Oh no.
And then the next person said, sounds like crumpling a ball of foil.
Wait, hold on. Now let me. I need to open this thread.
Yeah. Yeah, and basically, I feel like my rule is just spell it like it sounds. You know?
I
Like,
Yeah, I would agree.
you got to remember that that baby is going to grow up into a whole ass adult that has going to have to live with that until the day they die.
Isn't there some like somebody who is running for office or whatever whose actual like legal first name is Twinkle? I swear to God
Yeah.
that's real. That's another thing I'm gonna Google.
Yeah, there was definitely some politician running for office. I'm like, you're kidding, right? And you're just okay with that, just using it?
Yeah.
Like,
Like I feel so bad for so many of these kids whose parents like they picked like a pretty common name, like they like had like a common name but they wanted to make it unique somehow, so they like spell it all weird. Like these kids are just gonna grow up and like fix it themselves.
oh yeah, I went to school with a girl whose name was like spelled weirdly, and when by the time she got to be an adult, she just changed it to the normal spelling,
Yeah, she's like
like legally.
absolutely not. And also
Yeah.
I this here's the thing I don't like is just these sort of like weird combined syllable names that are like kind of just pulled from the ether, like Brantley or like things like that, or it'll be like Brayson, things that people kind of just make up.
Very common now, yeah.
I don't like it. I do not like it.
Yeah, or people trying to like combine two names together and like, oh, I can't decide between these, so we just made them one name, and it's like, no, don't do
Oh
that.
my god, you know what a really bad one was? It's the name KVIIIlyn, but the ATE or like the AIT part of it was
Mm-hmm.
the Roman numeral 8.
Sure it was, yeah.
Why?
Try filling out a bubble sheet with that name.
Jesus Christ.
There's
Again,
not that number.
people just don't make any sense to me.
There was a time where I became very fascinated with the fact that you could play with letters like that. I had a cat named Katie, and I thought it was really cool to spell her name as Caydee,
That's
but
kind
I was 11.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. If it's a pet, whatever.
But I was 11,
Yeah.
and I just discovered it for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
kind of realizing that, and I thought it was super cool. And then I grew up.
Yeah.
I'm being very harsh.
Uh,
That
Reddit
hates me.
user Renly Van. I once met a girl named Cliche. No.
Of course, that's going to make me think of the is it Zimbabwe?
Oh my god. The comedian from Zimbabwe.
Yeah, it
There's
does the
a
name.
comedian, I believe his name is Learn More Jonasi, and he's talking about like Zimbabwean names and how there's kind of this like superstition, I guess, in a lot of communities in Zimbabwe where like if you name a child a certain thing, they will grow up to be that exact thing. And he did this bit about how his friend who had like, never achieved anything, never moved out of his parents' house, his name was Take It Easy. And he's funny as hell. I will link him.
Well, there was oh man, I don't remember her name. There was
Oh,
a
the thing on TikTok?
yes.
Yeah, I will also find those.
Yeah, I can't remember some of the names she mentions, but they're just like they just pick words in English that sound fancy to them, and they're just the most random things.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. And it was from a Twitter thread, and she was like reading all of these out.
Yeah,
One of the names
yeah.
was like, I think the name wound up being like His first name was Psychology. Last name was like Masivisa or something.
Yeah,
So it was like
yeah,
Psychology Masivisa. I was like, oh,
yeah,
wow. That's a lot.
yeah. Yeah, it's just like random words that it isn't even about like the aspirational thing or whatever. It's just like they thought this word sounded fancy.
The response to that, or the one of the like the tweets that she read out that I thought was the funniest was actually my mom went to school with a Queen Elizabeth, no space. Like fantastic, incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the first time I saw that TikTok, I was on the floor. What other responses here do I want to see?
Yeah, there's a lot with the name like Richard, because like there's a guy named Richard Head. Oh yeah, Nevea has become a thing.
Oh my god.
I got my first one in class this year.
Oh,
I knew it was coming
here's the
eventually.
thing that I fucking hate. Every all these like I think it's younger millennial at this point, like younger millennial parents were naming their kids like Khaleesi or whatever.
Yeah.
fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, there is what I think genuinely, like, if you name your child after like a fictional character that like is like, you know, a genuine inspiration to you or whatever, all right, fine. But like, one, did you watch the show? Two, if
Yeah.
you've read the books,
Maybe they didn't
you
finish it.
know what Khaleesi means.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Really? That's what you're gonna call your daughter?
But also, if you know how it ends,
How many people named their daughter Khaleesi at like season 3 of Game of Thrones? And now they just have to live with that decision and they and their child have to live with that decision for the rest of their life.
yeah, I feel like that's a really common thing that like whatever is popular at the time, they're like, yeah, let's go with that. So like the Bella generation is upon us.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm trying to think of what age they would be
I
now.
never even thought about that.
I
Yeah,
think
you're
they're
so
like
right.
they're in high school, I think. I think I'm gonna start seeing the influx of Bellas and Jacobs and Edwards
Oh, boy.
um in my classes very soon. It's like just I
Oh
think
my
while
god,
it
here was a bet like here's a horrendous example from one of those fucking Duggars or whatever. They named their son Spurgeon.
Virgin, yeah, I was just looking at
Jesus
that one.
Christ. Do you want your kid to
Oh,
be bullied?
honesty spelled Aunesty.
No.
Yeah,
Sputnik.
I mean, okay. Kid on my street, I see that, yeah.
What?
The one Elon Musk named
Yeah,
his son.
there it is.
Oh my God.
These responses are insane.
Yeah. Seven? That's a character on Star Trek Voyager.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if it is named after her. In which case, I support it.
Kid you not, back in college I met a dude named 8.
Oh,
All
I just
right.
read, I kid you not, I'm a teacher, and there's a little girl in my school named Soda.
Okay. Immaculate
Immaculate
Frostbite is a real
Frostbite.
boy's name from Alberta, Canada. Baby names database from the early 90s. Wow.
Uh, legendary. Renesmee.
Oh my
That's
god.
that's the little girl, the daughter from
The like
Twilight.
horrendous
Yeah,
like
that's a
creature.
combo name. That's a combo name, Renee and Esme.
Bad.
Like I said, you shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't do that. And then anyone who like one, you shouldn't even do that for the book that you're writing. And then anyone who does that in real life or does Renesmee specifically in real life, I have so many questions. I would like to study you and not in a good way.
Oh man, I just what? A seventh grade English teacher told them that one of the kids she looked after was named Exotic Purple Mercedes.
Damn.
Voldemort.
No. Twins named Axel and Diesel because their dad was a trucker.
Not as bad as some of
It
them.
could be worse. It could be
Because
worse.
I was literally just reading my egg donor tried to name my sister and I Margarita and Martini.
No.
My brother wanted to name his son Texas Mickey. Oh man.
These are
Texas Mickey.
nuts.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw the Axel and Diesel one. Hugh Cumber.
No. How's it? Oh, comment from Reddit user Confetti Bowl. How's anyone gonna know how you feel about the Second Amendment if you don't name your son Ruger and your daughter Remington? Oh my god, I don't know if this is true or not, or like if this is Photoshop, but there was a text. It was like, oh, we're thinking of naming her. It's like, I have to spell this out. It's like Reighfyl, pronounced rifle.
Oh, oh, I did see that one. Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Peaches. How was that? Oh, man. Oh, I just saw that one you were referring to. Yeah. OP.
The worst name I ever. I'm sorry, I feel like this is so mean. But, like, worst I've ever come across in real life was a little boy 20 years ago named Copenhagen, last name, as in the chewing tobacco. Both parents were incredibly redneck. Wow. Bruh.
Yeah, some of these, man. Oh, yeah, I see that. You're like slightly ahead of me.
Yeah, all the weird spellings I don't like, because, like, Kaylee is a perfectly fine name. And, like, that
Yeah,
one
that
makes
was my
sense with.
almost name.
Hmm?
That was my almost name.
Oh, really? And, like, Kaylee with, like, multiple spellings, like, I get that, but some of them are just nuts.
I always wondered who would call a baby Barry. I have a theory that all berries come out of the womb already balding, 50, and with a can of Stella in hand.
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald Jr.
No.
Uh, Kid in high school I knew was named Cash Profit, Cash with a K, and Profit with two T's at the end.
Bruh.
Oh, God.
Sheriff. Okay. I know a 2-year-old named Don. Not Donald. Just Don. Why didn't they give him a full name?
Yeah, Placenta.
No. That is not real.
100% not kidding. Saw it on state documentation for public assistance. I used to work for the state.
Oh my god. This thread is so funny.
Wife had a friend in college named Garin, Garrin. Last name Teed, Teed. I just Ritalin and Adderall. This is not. People do Amex.
No.
Oh yeah, Michael Jackson's Kid Blanket. That was.
Wasn't his name actually like Prince Michael II or something, and that was just a nickname?
I don't remember. Oh yeah, there's another name that's dead. Adolf. Just don't do it.
Oh, I remember seeing somewhere that the name, I believe it's pronounced Aryan, but it's spelled like Aryan. Like it's an actual name, and I think it's Hindi or Telugu or something. But I'm like, oh god, imagine like that's your given name, and then like you move to an English speaking country when you get older. That's gonna be rough.
So, all right. I'm not even kidding here. I had this coworker, an oblivious 30-something white man, and at some point I mentioned that I am Latina, and apparently he thought it was my name and not my ethnicity. Eventually he had a daughter
No,
and named her Latina because
no,
he thought it
no,
was my name.
no. Yikes.
I
Oh
also know
man.
a woman by the name of Ball Gown, one word. But naming your child Latina is a lot worse than naming her after a style of dress.
Yeah, I would agree.
How do you not know Latina? Like,
I have no idea.
it's incredible.
These are wild. I cannot recommend just a jaunt through this comment thread.
Yeah, the
Cannot recommend it enough if you're bored. It will be
yeah,
linked in the description.
I've seen this one come up more than once. The name is spelled JKMN and it's pronounced Noel.
Oh my god. Okay.
Like that is
Okay.
I think that one tops them. I don't know.
Why?
Just
Just don't
like,
don't name your kid a pun.
yeah,
Don't do it.
again, that is a whole ass person.
Yeah,
Oh
that's a
God.
human person. That's funny if you do it for like a lizard.
Sure. Yeah.
So many of these are
Sorry for the
very
kid.
funny. Like, I think
Oh,
if you get a cat and name it Bong Water, that's
yeah.
hysterical. But like, oh my god, do not do that to a like do not do these things to a human person. Save it for a fish.
Oh my
Get a
God. This person.
tank
Yeah.
of tropical fish and you can cycle through as many stupid names as you would like because
Yeah.
fish don't live that long. Just have a string of goldfish to try out all the dumb names that you think are funny. Name them Noel. Name them Bongwater. Name them, I don't know. Name
I
them
once had
anything.
I once had a fish that I named Plethora just because I liked the word.
Name the fish Plethora. Name the
And they called it
fish Death
Plethora.
Metal Steve.
Yeah, that's fun.
Like, do whatever you want. Just
Yeah.
don't do it with a child.
This person posted that they keep a list of interesting names they encounter in the ER,
Oh,
and
wow.
there's a lot of them. That's Pebbles. Just looking for a couple of example names. Royalty, but with two I's instead of a Y. Scotland, but with two T's.
Okay.
Yeah. Michael, Mycal. Riot, Ryott. Oh my God. Messiah. That's a terrible idea.
That is asking for trouble.
A guy named Honey.
Okay.
Karma, Carmah. Man, there's so many of these. Nirvana, Nervana. Yeah, these are just
These are something else.
champion. Can't even get something like champion because then like what if they're really just not good at anything?
I know. Oh my god. The
Like,
complex you would get from that.
but think of all like how much kids would make fun of that kid. Like
That's the
you're
thing.
supposed to be a champion.
Do not do this to your child. You are signing them up for bullying. They are going to resent you, and they are going to change their name as soon as they turn 18.
Takashi. I have no idea how you even pronounce that
The
one.
Takashi one, that can't be like about the like I feel like maybe like Takashi might be a Japanese name.
Probably, yeah. But it's
But maybe it sounds weird now because of the rapper.
Takashi King Lee, but all one word, Lee.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's
Get
someone here I just can't even begin
away
to.
from the outlet.
Radix, Anakin Ryder.
No. Don't do
Oh my
this.
God. Not making this up. Children right now in the school system where I grew up named the baddest and the coldest. Oh
Okay.
man. Yeah. Yeah, I think this person boils it down pretty well. None of us is an authority on what makes a bad, well, by the way, this is Biscuit Boy 89.
Is your
None
good
of us
name?
is an authority on what makes a bad name, but if a parent loves a unique name so much, then why don't they legally change their name to it and give their kid a name that won't cause a lifetime of mispronunciations, misspellings, complications with paperwork for the above reasons, people judging you because of your name? There's 1,000 ways you can express your unique creativity without it impacting your kid.
Yeah. I would say that's a get
That's,
away from the outlet. But I would say that yeah, that's a good blanket statement to sort of wrap up this topic, I would say.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's my basic opinion too. But I would also say this is just my personal thing. While you're not naming your kids something that is like a little too unique, shall we say?
I'm
Also
listening.
just
He's just
name
trying to eat the
something
carpet.
uh I would also say don't name them something wicked, boring, and common.
Is this because you hate the fact that your name is Sarah?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like you're like people still be naming kids John all the time, and like I
Sometimes
don't
it's
know.
for a reason though.
I
Like if
know,
it's
but
like
like
their grandfather or whatever. I don't know.
which I get like that there are other people that you like and care about, but this is a whole different person. I also have a thing about people naming kids after themselves, but that's a
That
whole
annoys me.
side issue.
It's like you're
Yeah,
not
I
that
don't.
you're not that special.
Well, it's like that's a unique person. That's not just a part of you. That is a whole
There's a
person.
kid.
And
Literally the kid. One of the kids who lives in the house like next to my parents' house right now. He's. I will not say his full legal name because that's not cool. But like he's the third.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, and he doesn't even go by his he doesn't even go by his first name because there's three of them.
Yeah, and
He just
it
uses
feels
his middle
like
name.
yeah, it just feels like hubris too. Like I'm
Yeah.
important, so my name must carry. And it's like no, just let that person
But
be their
also,
own person.
women, girls, ladies, start doing that. Fuck it. Start. I want to see more daughters that are juniors.
Yeah.
Take it back.
I dated a guy in college where in his family, this has been going on for generations. They had three male names that were rotated and um like each generation had to name their firstborn son, whatever one was up next.
No.
So like
Be your own
um
person.
in those names, um I'm gonna say in descending order of badness were John, Eugene, and John, Peter, and Eugene. So his dad's name was Eugene, his name was John, and so if we had got married and had a kid, our kid was no choice, had to be named Peter.
No.
Yeah. Like,
No.
I'm glad this didn't work because I was not gonna let that happen.
I don't
It's like
even think I have like names that I would like. I don't think I even have names that I would give to an actual child.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought about it much. Um,
And I also like the responsibility.
yeah, yeah. But I stand by the thing of not naming them like a really common name because I always hated like growing up in school, there would be like multiple Sarahs everywhere.
See,
Like, I could be
I
my
had
own
the
person.
opposite experience when I was a really little kid. I absolutely hated that I didn't have a common name because, when I was in like kindergarten or whatever, the two Emilys were automatic best friends. And I was like, fuck. But then I got
I
older and I
don't
was
think they
like,
were
never mind, I
friends
like it.
because they had the same name.
Hmm?
I don't think they were friends just because they had the same name.
But like, that was what sparked the friendship, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I actually, I wouldn't say I avoided other Sarahs, but like, I didn't like it because it was confusing. People would say your name, and like, still to this day, if I'm in the waiting room at a doctor's office and somebody comes out and says Sarah, I pause, I wait for a moment and look around to make sure nobody else stands up because sometimes that happens. And it's very irritating.
Yeah, no, I get that. When I was a little kid, I hated it, but now I'm like, yes. And every time I meet another Bridget, I'm like, no, that's me. I'm the alpha.
Yeah. Yeah, which is again, I just don't feel like you just don't feel as much like a separate, unique person, I feel like.
What are you doing?
So I don't have like a specific thought in mind, but I would probably go with something that was like, normal, but not super common.
We have to start doing the last podcast thing where they do the whoosh when they do air quotes
Yes.
because we do that way too often. But again, at least we technically do have video. They don't even do that most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I do kind of like the thing where people start like bringing back like kind of like old ass names.
Hmm.
That's kind of cool. Just like
Hmm.
things you haven't heard in a hot minute.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, some of them aren't great, um, but some of them just like, for example, I'm not crazy about the name, but a name like Adele, right, is
Yeah,
an older name, but it's a perfectly fine name.
yeah.
On the other hand, actually, I don't know if my grandmother's name was ever something that anybody else was named or if they made it up. But that's a name that shouldn't come back, because her name was Melvadine.
I've never heard that in my life.
Yeah, me either. So I don't know if it's just like an old timey name that, we just haven't heard of, or if they made it up
Somebody I
themselves.
knew
But
in college had a roommate named Magdalene, which, like, you definitely don't hear a lot.
as in Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not the worst thing in the
Uh,
world, I guess.
wasn't she a prostitute?
Yeah,
It's been a while since
maybe.
I've read.
I feel like the whole thing is that she was reformed?
Yes, but
I
still,
don't
like
know.
naming your infant.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, I probably won't ever have kids, so can avoid the issue altogether.
Yeah, no, like that's just not my problem.
But I think I told you when you got Oliver that that was one of the names that I had sort of like in the back of my mind
Oh,
for a
well,
kid.
it went to a good cause.
Yeah. My brother, on the other hand, he's never going to listen to this, so I can call him out. Um, his last kid ended up being a girl, but they originally thought that it was going to be a boy, and so they were picking out boy names. And I've never been so happy that the doctor was wrong in any case, but they wanted to name him Wyatt,
Mm.
and so
No.
when it ended up being a girl, I was like, he'll never listen to this. It's fine.
I mean, no one in my family listens to this podcast. Actually, no, that's not true. My Aunt Betty listens to this podcast
Hmm.
sometimes. Thank you. But
Mm-hmm.
no one that I'm actually no members of my family that I'm roasting on this podcast
Yeah,
are ever going to listen to it. So,
yeah. To be honest, I don't even know if my brother knows about it. I don't think I've brought it up.
he is just choosing violence tonight for
Mm.
reasons I don't quite understand.
The crime rate in your house is up like a thousand
The
percent.
crime rate in my house is up very, very high. But he fixed me mentally.
Yeah. Like that
So,
meme I
like,
sent you. That was that yesterday.
that was a delightful, delightful tweet that you sent
Yeah.
me, which I will also
Because
find for people who would like to view it.
yeah. I can't remember what the exact percentage in the meme was where it's like having a cat, man. I mean, the crime rate in my house is up like what a ridiculous percent, but it's
But
so
now
true.
I would die without him, so
Yeah. Yeah.
ain't that just the way? I think that's gonna bring us to the weekly worsening.
Yeah. We're
You
there.
said you had a thing that you were potentially saving for that.
Yeah, and I didn't save it very long because I was going to talk about the Super Mario Odyssey part of things.
Okay.
Because that was also the new thing in my life, which is why I sort of hesitated. But I'm like, yeah, that's what's going on because it had literally just happened.
Mm, yeah.
Um, I mean, that doesn't mean that that's the only way I'm worse this week.
Can you think of any off the top of your head? Because I'm trying to remember if the thing that immediately comes to mind is the thing I used last week.
Interesting.
Did I tell you that I spent $200 on fabric for a ghost
Yep,
cosplay?
yep, that was last week.
Yeah, so I mean, we're working on that. Like, the spiraling into madness obviously does continue. But I think one of the notable ways that I'm worse this week is that I am absolutely tearing through the Chainsaw Man manga.
I was gonna say the same thing for my
Who
worsening.
are we?
Have you passed the point of the show?
No, I just finished volume 4 today.
I'm past the. I'm into new stuff.
Shit, oh shit, dog. I was taking it, I was like holding myself back because I'm like, oh, Brooks, I'm not gonna be able to talk about this with her. But now I'm gonna go nuts.
That went fast. This is some gift of the Magi shit right here.
Who are we?
Because when you had sent me like a picture, that picture of Denji and Power, like the full page panel,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh no, she's ahead of me. I hope she doesn't like, get ahead and then think I'm at that same point and then spoil something. I better hurry up and read.
Oh my
And
god,
I
well, wait,
read
what
like,
point are you at? Because now I need to make sure I'm at the same point by this weekend.
yeah, I read three of them in one sitting. I would
Rude,
have to
I'm
look.
probably gonna do that tomorrow.
I'll have to look to see which. I think I just started six.
Okay. Yeah, I just finished 4, so
Yeah, so
I'm gonna
I'm like
bring multiple with me to work
I'm
tomorrow.
like I'm only like one ahead of you.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean I specifically sat down and read three of them. I think it was Saturday because I was wanting to. I figured you were way ahead of me and I was trying to catch up.
Oh my god, I was like holding back because I'm like, oh, she said she like takes her time with graphic novels to like look at all the panels. I should slow down.
You know The Gift of the Magi, right?
No.
The classic story. It's it's like this classic story about this elderly couple, and maybe you'll know it once I start explaining it, but
Will you stop trying to eat? Sorry, I'm listening. He's eating lights.
this classic story about an elderly couple who, didn't have a whole lot of money, but Christmas is coming up, and I'm not telling this very well. Um, so anyway, elderly couple, not much money, Christmas is coming up, and they want to be able to get something for each other. So the
Oh, I
husband,
think I know this.
yeah, the husband, knowing, how much his wife treasures her hair and how beautiful it is,
Yep.
he wants to get her
I
this
know
nice
this.
hair clip. Yeah. Figure I'll finish it in case nobody else. Um, wants to get this beautiful hair clip, but he doesn't have money, so he sells his watch to get money to buy the hair clip.
And then she buys him like a watch chain, right?
Yeah. And so, and then he goes to give it to her and he finds out like all of her hair is gone and she cut off her hair and sold it to get him the watch chain. And so like they each got rid of their favorite thing in the world to get something for the other person's favorite thing in the world. And now they can't use those things.
Which, like, fucked up but sweet.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. This is
Yeah,
like
no, that's literally
the
that.
Magi,
Okay,
where
so
it's like,
but we'll be on the same page by the time that we're in the same room, which is great. And
Mhm.
also, we're both going to be so much worse by Monday because we will have finished Death Note.
That's so true. I was talking to somebody yesterday and mentioned that we were watching Death Note, and they're like, that's dark. And this is somebody who has finished it and read the manga.
We're gonna debrief
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
All right, so that's going to bring us to the end. As always, thank you for fighting with us, friends. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and we will be back again next week. So much worse.
Always
Adios.
worth.
This week's episode of the Fighting with Friends podcast was hosted by Bridget Kelly and Dr. Sarah Brookes. You can find other episodes of the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or your other favorite listening platform. Follow us on Twitter at BridgetKelly98 and at AndSarahSaid. Rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice. Like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch and Facebook, and join our Discord community using the links in the description. You can also help support us via the Acast supporter feature, or consider donating to our Patreon for early access to episodes and fun bonus content. Thanks for listening!